want to start?
Yeah, I can start. You know, I sort of welcome this opportunity to talk about our move a little bit, because I've got some, you know, kind of mixed feelings about it. You know, when we moved where we are now, which is a lovely place right on the water, and we've been there 10 years and have really settled in, our plan then was to stay there until we either went to the nursing home or the cemetery, you know, and then things changed when we had grandchildren, and you wanted to move closer to them. And you know, at first that caught me off guard, and I wasn't prepared for it. And then I've gotten used to it, and you know, I think it's okay. I'd like to be closer to them and do things with them and be part of their lives. And so we're sort of slowly working in that direction. But sometimes I feel, you know, like I'm getting a little pressured, you know, to move in a direction that I'm not fully ready to. In other words, we don't know they're going to stay there. We think they're going to stay there, but they might not, and we might be living there and they might be somewhere else. And so I don't want to move from just an absolutely ideal place from my point of view for us to live, except for being near the children and grandchildren, to some place that really isn't as suitable to me. And you know, we're on the water, we love the wildlife, we don't do much boating. I mean, we've done lots of water sports over the years, but we aren't doing much boating off our dock. That's not the issue. It's just the water and the wildlife and the peace and quiet that's there. And so when I hear you sometimes say to somebody, you know, and answer, where are you moving? Oh, well, we're going to move into the city of Danville, and etc. That sort of makes me think that my desires and wants are being discounted a little bit, and you've kind of already decided that's what we're going to do. We may have to do that because of expenses. I understand that, but that wouldn't be my first decision. So I'm just feeling a little like I'm getting rushed a little bit, or pressured, or whatever you want to say, or my feelings are being discounted, or I don't know. Anyway, so that's why I wanted to talk about it.
Well, thank you for being willing to talk, just for bringing it up and being willing to talk about it, and because that's really important to me. And kind of what I'm hearing is that, you know, it was my idea, which was my idea, and that you heard it and considered it, and that you are willing to do it and willing to join me, and it's okay to do that. But that sometimes, you know, I'm kind of rushing into okay, now I got him to agree to be there, and come and move, you know, near the grandchildren, and you know, well, now let's see if we can move across the street from that, you know. Yeah.
And that won't do.
Yeah, I understand that. You know, that probably would do for me, but I know that won't do for you. You know, one of the things that I feel real strongly about in this move is since it'll be a time when neither of us will be working, that wherever we move, that it's easy for us financially. I don't want to be at all strapped financially, and I want to be able to travel, you know, maybe not as much as we used to, but to do the things we really want to do. So that's been a lot of my push, to kind of have a smaller house. You know, I feel like where we live now, we've lived on two of the 3 floors, you know, and yet we have to maintain all of those things. And so I really would like something, you know, smaller. I don't want to go in an apartment. I don't want to be somewhere where I can't go outside and enjoy the birds and nature and everything that we love. I want to take our big clunky dogs with us, as long as they're alive. So I want to have some space, but I don't want to have the upkeep issues, and I don't want to have the kinds of financial outlay that it takes to keep up a big place. You know, now we have a lot of land now and gardens, and I really can't do all that myself anymore. So, you know, I don't want to get into that kind of situation. So I hear you about you know, moving to some place that we're just not happy to be in, and I don't want to do that either.
Okay, well, I just wanted to, you know, make sure that we're on the same page with that, because, you know, I agree, we have, since I went to part-time and since we're on a pretty fixed income right now, we've really curtailed our traveling for the past couple of years. And I too would like to resume doing, you know, certainly more of that than we are now. And we knew really that at some point we would probably, you know, have to sell the house we're in now, but just to go, even just to go to a you know, a retirement community or something, that we couldn't live there forever. So, you know, I'm comfortable with that and downsizing and that sort of thing. I just don't want to rush into it. And of course, it may take us a long time to sell our house, and I don't want to just, I don't want to just sacrifice it just to sell it and not get anything out of it. So I think we should be able to take some money from that and buy a place where we don't have a big mortgage. We might still have a mortgage. We recently refinanced, so our payments are, you know, are less as of now, you know, already. So you know, I'm in agreement with you, and I'm, you know, probably when you first mentioned it, my initial thought was, well, you can go live in Danville if you want to. I like it fine here. So I've come a long way toward your view in this time. So don't rush me too far. I do want to stay with you, and I want us to live together. But I want it to be a place that we could both like, you know, and really enjoy. And of course, any move, you know, there are always mixed feelings about leaving your friends and your neighborhood and your church and things that have become important to you there. But there are going to be all those things wherever we move. So that's not a big issue, really.
I want to say that I appreciate your willingness to look at this, because it is really important to me to be near the grandchildren and to be able to help out our children. I know when we were both working full-time and had young children and were away from family, it was really tough sometimes to manage child care well and, you know, pick up the children and, you know, be at work. And we had times when we were both on call, and it was really just awful to try and work all that out and, you know, manage to somehow get enough sleep, or, you know, and I want to be able to be there if they need to be picked up from school, or if the parents need a weekend off, or and just to be more time with the grandchildren, because I just love, absolutely love being with them. And I appreciate your willingness to consider that, and I appreciate that the willingness that you have had to look at houses that aren't on a body of water, because of they're further away, and because the expense of, you know, houses on the water. And so I feel like that's been a big concession on your part, and I want you to know how much I appreciate your willingness to look at these things. And I will try to, on my part, I will try to go slower and and not get, you know, all excited, and I won't just talk about going to Danville. Okay, I will, you know, try and be a little more inclusive, that we were going to be near our grandchildren, but I won't specify it as to, you know.
Well, that will be helpful to me. And if our financial advisor says, you know, look, if you buy this house on the lake here, you aren't going to have enough money to do the other things that you want to do, then that's, you know, then that makes a decision for me, and that's fine. But I just don't want to feel pressured that way.
No,
and I know it was tough for you with not being near either of our parents when the kids were growing up, and in those days I wasn't doing all that much to support you. So I understand where you're coming from, and I too want to help the kids and be available. And I get a kick out of the grandchildren too. That last birthday card I got from Ava is still on my dresser because that's special. So
they love your fuzzy beard. So
okay.
Thank you, love.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to me, and I feel better. Okay, bye.